Aerys the First Targaryen is often one of the most overlooked kings in the history of Westeros. Sandwiched in between some of the most influential Targaryen kings, his father, King Daeron II, is remembered thanks to the First Blackfyre Rebellion. Then of course you had the kings that followed Aerys, who required an extremely unlikely series of events to seat them upon the Iron Throne. Finally, we have his namesake, the last Targaryen king of Westeros, King Aerys II Targaryen, the Mad King. But despite being overlooked by many, the man himself has some aspects to his personality that do stand out, and some of these aspects of his personality could very well have facilitated the rise of one of the most influential men to ever hold power in Westeros, Brynden Rivers, Bloodraven. Aerys has been described by some sources as a spindly and stooped man with long straight Targaryen silver hair that framed his thin face, which bore a long thin moustache and accompanied with a long pointed beard. While we do not know the colour of his eyes, it is speculated that they could have been the purple eyes of old Valyria, like much of his Targaryen kin. He often wore his grandfather, Aegon IV's crown, but did sometimes wear others. In much of the art that has depicted him, his beard and moustache are prominently featured, and thus have become associated with him. King Aerys was a very scholarly man, and could have been made a maester in another life, much like the son of Jaehaerys the Conciliator, Prince Vaegon Targaryen. Aerys was well known as a bookish man who preferred reading to ruling, which in truth did not change when he suddenly found himself seated upon the Iron Throne. One tale claims that Aerys could be found reading all through the night in his chambers, with his only company a candle to read by. In a way, ruling the realm at first for Aerys was more than an afterthought, but this bookish nature also impacted other aspects of Aerys' rule, specifically his relationship with his wife and queen, Eleanor Penrose. There was a saying in the Seven Kingdoms that Aerys would sooner bring a book to bed rather than his wife, which in many respects seemed more likely than not. Aerys was said to have a particular interest in books about arcane prophecy and the higher mysteries, from the legends of old Valyria to dusty ancient tomes of lost magic from the Age of Heroes. Some believed that in truth, Aerys became obsessed with the arcane and prophecy. At some point, Aerys read a prophecy that spoke about the return of dragons, which in turn began a chain reaction that would have far-reaching impacts, as Targaryen princes and kings to come after Aerys would too find interest in these old tomes and prophecies, the likes of Aegon the Unlikely and Prince Rhaegar Targaryen, men who would leave an undoubtable impact on the future of House Targaryen and Westeros. But there is also some that have speculated this interest in the arcane also had another consequence on the histories of Westeros, and through this shared interest and love of the higher mysteries, King Aerys bonded with Brynden Rivers, Bloodraven, who too had a love for the arcane. It has been put forward by some this could have influenced Bloodraven being elevated to the position of Hand of the King over Aerys' own brother, Prince Maekar. King Aerys' relationship with his queen has led to many questions in the years since his reign. He was married to his cousin, Lady Eleanor Penrose, but the truth is that even before he became king, Aerys never once showed any interest in getting his wife with child, or spending any time with Eleanor whatsoever, with the pair almost living two separate lives completely. Even when Aerys became king and needed to secure heirs of his own, he instead shunned the bed of his wife, as he had always done. According to some rumours, Aerys did not even consummate the marriage. Now, it's not hard to imagine he simply misliked his wife, as many men and women throughout history have been forced to marry those they mislike, but there has never been any account of Aerys having a mistress, or any interest in any woman whatsoever, leading to the speculation that perhaps Aerys had desires elsewhere, or of another kind. If our sources can summarize King Aerys I Targaryen as a person in a single sentence, it would be the words of Septon Stefan, who told Sir Duncan the Tall the following during the dispute over the Chequy Water. His Grace cares more for old scrolls and dusty prophecies than for lords and law. He will not even bestir himself to sire an heir, which is his duty as king. Queen Eleanor prays daily at the great sept, beseeching the Mother above to bless her with a child, yet she remains a maid. Aerys kept his own apartments, and it is said he would sooner have taken a book to bed than any woman.